So, good morning. Long story short, about the story time that I've been doing for a couple of days about the lady who never paid me for working for her at her daycare. I ended up calling the state, turning her in. I told the state that her daycare was always dirty and nasty, which it was. I couldn't even go to the bathroom. The bathroom toilet stopped up. And how she let all them toddlers use the bathroom and you can't even flush the toilet. The sinks in the bathroom was nasty. She called herself cooking hot dogs for all the kids. And flies got on the wieners. And she still served the hot dogs to the kids. Long story short, I never did work for her anymore. I didn't have anything else to do with her because she did me dirty. I'm still not over the fact that she never paid me. But I'm about to move on. So the next daycare that I worked at, very unprofessional. Very, very unprofessional. Ghetto. Okay. Some of the things that I witnessed at this other daycare that I worked at, which was in the hood. And my assistant manager, this lady who was around 34, I saw her sit on a student. Well, she sat on this boy, but this boy had ADD, and he couldn't sit still. And he was the type of kid that will fight an adult. He even fight his own parent. So when she was sitting on the student, she gonna look at me and say, "I'm not hurting him." And then meanwhile, he's yelling to me, "Get off of me, you bitch! Get off of me!" This little boy was like around 10 years old. He's like, "I'm gonna tell my mama. I'm gonna tell my daddy. I'm gonna call the police on you because you hurting me." Eventually, she got her ass off the little boy. Another thing that I witnessed while I was working there is like, I had to work with this other teacher who was around 60 years old. And I'll never forget her name was Miss Tony. Miss Tony started off nice in the beginning, but then she switched up on me. She just started acting crazy. And I knew I had to work with this lady every day, so I would try to find ways to like get on her good side. But I was in her classroom with her one day, and so it's this one kid in particular who was always hitting on other kids, and he had ADD. And I had told her, I said, well, he keeps hitting other kids because she had came back from the bathroom. And this is not funny when I'm about to say what she did. When I told her while she was gone, this kid had hit this boy. So she took this little boy's hand, the kid that the little boy hit, and took his hand and slapped the other little boy upside the head with the little boy hand. And I'm like, I just stood there in shock and disbelief that she actually did something like that. It's funny now when I think about it, but at the time, I just felt like that was so wrong. How you gonna take another kid's hand and slap another little boy upside the head with the kid hand. That's crazy. And she had this little switch that she had got off a tree. Anytime that I would have to go outside with her, with the kids, and it was playtime. And that's the worst part of the daycare of working at the daycare that I used to hate, to sit outside with those kids in the heat. But it's because they needed fresh air, and it was the rules. So another thing that happened while I was at the daycare, at this unprofessional ghetto ass daycare, is that my assistant manager I just got to work. So she took me in the baby room with this 20-year-old daycare teacher. And she asked me in front of the girl, she says that you took this little boy toy home. And then the 20-year-old girl had said to me, and you did, and because you did. You responsible for the toddlers late in the afternoon. And then I forgot where I was at. I got upset immediately, and I told this little 20-year-old girl, I said, no, the fuck I didn't. Now, I was around 30 years old around this time. My assistant manager was 34, and this other chick was 20. But as soon as I said that, my assistant manager grabbed me by the hand and took me out of the baby room like she thought I was about to put hands on this 20-year-old girl. I wanted to. I even wanted to put hands on her, because how dare you bring me in the baby room to get confronted by this other daycare worker that's way younger than me. And she was both of them tried me that day. Then the very next day I came to work. I usually work in the baby room. That was my choice, to work in the baby room. She tells me, I'm gonna let the other girl work in the baby room, and you're gonna take her class and work with the toddlers today. So I was mad immediately. I'm like, I say, huh? She's like, you're gonna work with the toddlers, the 5-year-olds, and she's gonna work in the baby room in your place today. Mind you, this 22-year-old girl who had to work in the baby room in my place had just had a newborn, but I didn't care. I didn't care. Because I did not want to be up front with her class, the little 5-year-olds, because those 5-year-olds was bad as hell. During lunchtime, they would throw food at the teacher. They would fight. They didn't want to sit still. And then, so my assistant manager saw that I had this mean mug on my face the entire day. Then she walks up to me with another daycare teacher, and she says, Miss Broussard, I noticed that you look mad today, but I'm telling you, this is the only day that you will have to do this, And if you're upset, just get over it, because we all help each other out. And I told her, I said, I will be leaving early today. And I just made up something. I said, because I have to pick up my daughter from school early. Her school called me as soon as I got here. And then she was like, well, I don't know how to do that ratio. Some bullshit, she said. You leaving early, that's going to mess up everything, and I'm gonna have to take over the toddler class. I'm like, do what you have to do, because I'm not going to get CPS called on me just because you want me to stay here until fucking